Welcome everyone. Today we're going to be installing this bottom feed water heater. I'm going to tell you why we're going to do that in a minute here, but we got to get the old tank started to drain now. It's going to take half an hour to an hour to drain it, unless you have a pump. That'll make it go way quicker, but we're just going to gravity drain it today. So let's go get that started. First thing we're going to do is turn off the power to the tank. There it is there. You can see it's up on a shelf. And that's attic space up there. So some of you have probably already figured out why we're putting in a bottom feed. There's the shut off for the tank right here. We're going to turn that off. This is going to be repiped here because it's a bottom feed water heater. We may keep this valve. I may put a new valve in. I'm going to go copper to the tank. So we'll see what happens. So we're going to go ahead and get this draining. Take the hose, hook it up to that. Okay, so I'm just going to run this hose outside. This is just a flathead screwdriver drain, quarter turn. Yours might have a handle that you turn to undo it. They're all different drains. And there we go. It's starting to drain. Once it's drained down a bit, we can also crack this TMP open to let a bit of air into the tank to allow it to drain faster. There we go. I can hear it starting to drain faster now. A lot of times these drains get clogged too, so you want to make sure it's draining out. I'm gonna undo this. Close that off. This is the blow tube from the TMP. We're going to remove that because we'll reuse this. There's nothing wrong with this. It's just a drain tube for the temperature pressure relief valve. Now I've got to get up into the attic and disconnect the piping on top of this tank. So if I can get it on video, I'll try. It's probably going to be a really tight space above this. So I'll try and get a little bit of footage for you.
Got the lines cut. Now I'm going to undo the electrical here. Okay, we're ready to go down and get this thing out of here.
Gotta love attic spaces. That was no fun at all. But we got the piping disconnected, the wiring. So now I'm gonna go ahead and try and get this out of here on my own. This is a pretty tight spot, and I'll probably have to get a helper to put the new one up in there, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to get that on video because it's a tight spot here, and I'm gonna be fighting with this. So I'll show you once this thing's out of here. Okay, the tank's out. Now I've removed the old valve from here because I am gonna put in a new ball valve. I'm gonna put this down in here. So we're gonna have a little bit of copper going there and then copper going to the new tank. The pan, it looks a little rusty, but it's still in good shape. Got the drain over there. And then we've got our cold line here and hot going up. So I'm gonna go prep this with the tank. Okay, here's the old tank here. And some of you might be saying, well, why are you changing this out? It looks in good shape. It is over a 10-year-old tank. And for insurance purposes, this tank has to be removed, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's the way it is now. And who knows, it might have had another 10 years in it. This copper here is in really nice shape and it's ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and solder a PEX adapter on the end here. I might reuse this on the cold, but I'm definitely gonna reuse this on the hot. It's only 10 years old. This copper lasts a long time. And since the new tank is gonna need to be changed in another 8 or 10 years, this will be just fine. There's nice solder joints. So we're just gonna go ahead and get that adapter on here. So first thing I'm gonna do is just ream the end of the pipe, get that burr out of there, clean it with some sandcloth. Okay, now we've got our adapter here to PEX. We're just gonna clean that. Some flux paste in there. Flux the end of the pipe. Put that adapter on there. There we go. You always want to prefab that before you do it up on here. You never want to solder directly above this because this is plastic in here. Now I'm just going to lean it over top of this. And that's it. Just let that cool for a little bit. Got a damp rag here. You can see that's a nice solder joint. So this is where the PEX line is going to attach on the top of the new tank. Okay, let's get this installed. So here's the new tank. I like to use Teflon and pipe dope on the main connections. Okay, that's good. And a couple wraps of Teflon going with the threads, just like you would thread on. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and tighten this on, and I'm going to face it in the direction that I want it to point for tying the PEX on up in the attic. That's tightened on really well and pointing the right direction. And the cold I'm going to do once the tank is in place. Okay, I've got my pieces all cleaned and reamed, fluxed the valve up. This piece is going in the top. That's going to go in there. Flux on there. Here's the 90. Fit that on there. That's going in there. Adapter on the end. Now we're going to line that up like that. And we'll move it over here and prop it up. I just flipped this over, and I had turned the camera off to let this cool, and I thought I was filming doing this part, but I guess I didn't turn the camera on. So I just soldered this piece in here. Now it's cooled down, and we're gonna go install it. It's not a perfect solder job, but I know it's not gonna leak. Let's get this installed. So here's our cold. Obviously I have the water turned off to the house right now to change this valve out. And I changed this because I wanna come off it with copper, and this is just a better configuration. So we're gonna go ahead and put a ring on here. Got my adapter there, and we'll give that a squeeze with the water pump pliers just to hold it in place. Crimpers. I'll give it a crimp. Just gonna go ahead and put one clip here just loosely to hold this back in place while I put the tank in, so it's not gonna interfere with the tank going in. It was a bit of a chore to get it in there. This is how it's gonna sit on an angle because of this pipe here. I've got this all prefabricated up. I did end up reusing this piece. There's nothing wrong with it. So I've got this ready to go here. There's a coupling here I'm gonna solder. I took the handle off the valve for now just to get this in because it was rubbing on it. So now we're just gonna solder this up, and I've left room so these cover plates can still come off and get elements in and out if we need to. A little spray of water back there to make sure no fire. And there we go.
Okay, here's the hot outlet. We're just going to tie this PEX on here. Okay, done. Now we're gonna finish the wiring. So I got the ground hooked up.
Okay, so I'm just going to turn the water on slowly here. Turn the hot faucet on to get the air out. And when that's a steady stream, then we know the tank's full. And there we go, steady stream of water. I've filled the tank, checked for leaks, and now I'm just going to adjust the temperature down a little bit. I like to go about 130. These come preset at 140, which is a little hot. I like to go 130. You never want to go below 120 or else you're looking at introducing bacteria and possible legionnaires into your water, so you don't want that. There's the 140, there's the 120. So I'm just gonna go halfway between. There we go. That might be a little over 130. That's okay. And then we'll do the same on the top. I'll just turn the power on. Yeah, you want the bottom of that blow tube to be just above the top edge of the pan here. Code is 1 inch, and that's called an air gap. Basically to prevent water that might end up in this pan if the drain got blocked, back siphoning. But as long as it's above the lip of this pan by a little bit, you're fine. And then I'm gonna put a seismic strap across the top here from this side to this side. It's got walls all around it, but that'll prevent it from falling outwards if we happen to get a big earthquake. There we go, got the seismic strap there. And this is gonna take a couple hours before it's totally hot. Hour and a half, 2 hours. Oh, it is hot up there in that attic. I do not envy people who work up in those attics all the time. I'm glad that's over. This was the most difficult water heater I've ever had to change. And I've replaced a lot of water heaters, hundreds over the years. Why it wasn't installed on the floor, I don't know, because there's just a cabinet underneath. And I know I said I'd mention this at the beginning. The reason that I installed this bottom feed, if you hadn't figured it out by now, is because now there's no cold water going up into that attic space. Even though it's insulated up there, where I am in the Pacific Northwest here, it gets cold in attic spaces in the winter around here. So it's not a good idea to have water lines in the attic space. So now this tank just has the hot line, and as long as the power is on to this tank, that will always stay warm because the heat's gonna rise up out of the tank and into that pipe, which would have been the case for the cold as well. The cold pipe coming into the tank even gets warm if it's on the top. But still, it's a better way to do it, having the cold in the warm part of the house. That's why I put the bottom feed in this way. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. And like I said, that old tank I pulled out, I'm gonna make another video and pull that anode rod out of there. We're gonna see what a old anode rod, never been changed before, looks like on a 10-year-old tank, or over 10-year-old tank. But until I get that video made, you can always check out this one up here. All right, thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.